who cares? We're in this game to have fun. 2000 heal bomb on our life and our ES. It's crazy strong. I've dropped 1 natural divine. Like, what the f? A crazy 4 fracture craft. And that's the thing that doesn't give you anything until you hit that lever. Hitting me here? Because it's a blue pack that spawns. Help. Help us. We say all these things because we love the game. I did it. Hello and good morning on this post-rip morning of when we died on our latest character, the Hierophant Archmage. Unlucky. In today's little video, I'll give you a bit of an update on the latest character, the new character I'm planning on making, and just some general thoughts on the league, which I think today, given my Reddit page, is actually the perfect day. But we'll leave that for last. I'll just give you a brief look at what the current page looks like, which is kind of hilarious. This is the current page. Sys with leak mechanic, all flame of wrist pain, simple changes to change retention, a crazy 4 fracture craft, and the state of 17 mass killing my enjoyment, and the drop rate. And all these things, and breach is miserable. I mean, there's so much going on here. It is crazy. I mean, and this is hilarious. This is actually a fun thing, though. But yeah, there's a lot of these sentiments around misery, misery, and what the f. But we'll address that after talking about the rip. So I ripped yesterday, doing a pretty cool new box strategy. Everything was going fine. Even as I said in the video, I'm liking it. What I was trying to do yesterday was essentially we're trying to set up a box strategy for SSF. I'll probably have a dual Atlas strategy where I use one subset of my scarabs for one, and then once I run out of that, I want to run an alternate strategy that uses a different subset of scarabs that then restocks the other one as I'm running that. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do like box domination, and then on the other one I'll do maybe the Sys strategy of a lot of anarchy and rogue exiles, and that might be enough to like load up each one will load up each other. And then if I really run all the way down, there's a bunch of other content we can do. Bossing content, there's tons of other content we can do, which is a big positive of this league, which is the dual or the triple Atlas. Oh, we like that. And we like the scarabs. And at least I do. I like the scarabs. I like all of that, where there's just a more fun. There's no sextants to set up all the time. You can just slot in 20 scarabs at a time and you just run them. Then you have the lantern, which is kind of cool. Yeah, definitely kind of cool. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's analyze the rip first. So what happens in this clip? So I walk up to the box and I click the box and I dash away from the box. All well and good. I create distance and I set up the frostball and I start casting. Now, a little bit of a problem here that I sometimes, if I feel in danger, will do is I will pre-cast frostball from afar, run in, dash out, and then start casting. So my frostballs are lined on top of the box and start casting immediately. Because what happens in the clip is that they're casting close to me and they're not wiping out the entire pack immediately. What happens then is that everything is alive, and then unfortunately there's something called cannibals in here, which don't actually need to directly hit you, they just need to hit close to you. And so they just fire in your proximity, and if you don't move quite far away, they will all hit you. So there's probably like 8 hitting me here, because it's a blue pack that spawns, and this blue pack has, I think it's elemental equilibrium and random added damage, and it is a physical spell. And I didn't really appreciate the fact that I was running minus suppress in here as well, so that also is a huge increase in damage is what I'm taking. So the fact that the entire pack was blue, gaining extra damage, and I had less spell suppression, and it's the worst pack imaginable, and they're all firing at the same time out of the box because it's the entire pack because I stand still. Now what I should be doing the moment I see cannibals in a maps with boxes is I should be opening the box, getting away, and then moving clockwise or counterclockwise round before I start really casting, so that I allow them to cast their initial volley. It's something you just need to be aware of in hardcore. It's not unfair. Like the cannibals always act this way. It's very fair because you will always know. And if you're doing a strategy that's slightly more of the dangerous kind, where like you're opening boxes, you should make yourself aware. Like, you should check before you go into it. So this was like a player error through and through. And it's just one of those. I'm not even mad about it. Like the last one that got me, the stupid chaos glittering spikes, whatever throws rocks next to you and you can stack them 1,000 times, and if it's a dark map you can't even see, like that kind of that just can spawn on any rare thing and it hates melee, like that pisses me off. This, I was like, okay, go again. I fucked up. And the thing is, whenever you fuck up and you get punished, I don't get mad about that. That's the game. So we go again, this time Inquisitor. Now the build we're gonna make is, all I know for now is I want to make a tornado. We're going Inquisitor because it's a tri-Ellie and we want to have this, and then we're just gonna stack gained Ellie damage on there. It'll probably be mainly fire, and maybe eventually I'll go pure fire. Not sure about that yet, but it may turn into a pure fire build over time with like Herald of Ash, Magnetic Strikes. I have an added fire awakened, which is also +1 to physical gem. So Awakened Added Fire is actually an insane gem for Tornado. So that's what I have right now. And then I'm going to be, since I'm Inquisitor and it has Pious Path, we're going to use the new tech with Call to Arms. We don't need to go all the way down here. So now we can just have it automated, and I'm going to take deep breaths. So without inequality, it's already down to like, what, 5 point something second cooldown. And we're going to have 1 duration wheel, and you added duration to the thing. So you're having like 40% uptime of a regen. That's like what is Enduring Cry? Let's see here. Enduring Cry. So Enduring Cry is 2000 over 1. You can increase that 1 second so it keeps healing. Or actually, can you? No, it's the buff you can. We can have the buff up permanently. The extra buff, the physical damage reduction, we can have that up permanently. I'm not sure about the regen. I think that might be fixed. I think that is fixed. However, that 1 second, that 2000 regen that's happening every 3 seconds, let's move that to like, let's say we get it down to like 3 second cooldown. So you have 2000 over 3 seconds. So that's 666 healing per second. If you compare that, like that's the average. If you look at Vitality, Vitality at max level is 200. It's 3 times stronger than Vitality on average. And the thing is, the crazy thing about Enduring Cry is that it is a regen. So that means that it works with Pious Path. So every like 3 seconds, it's giving us 2000 heal bomb on our life and our ES every 3 seconds. It's crazy strong. So I think that's something. I just want to have that, and I want to see if I can make a tree that makes sense here for this skill. Also, the duration is really nice because Tornado, yes, you can have them up without needing duration, but this means we can move around more. The secondary skill I want to use with it, I'm not sure about yet. We will figure that out over time. But either some kind of conversion skill, duration skill, unleash skill, I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, we'll see. That'll be the build. So I am one who is willing to just YOLO it, even on solo self-found, and I find that fun to do and just figuring it out as we go. I don't care that I'm wasting some divine per hour rate. Who cares? We're in this game to have fun. If I can do that, you can too. Anyways, that's my plan. Now, a little bit of a feedback on the league itself. Because as much as I'm having fun, because I really am having fun, I like the All Flames, I like the Lantern. If I had to give you some feedback on the Lantern and all that stuff, it is that I don't like how PoE is turning into this giant slot machine. I kind of understand why they're doing, and I think it has to do with MF. So the reason why there is some sense in having all these mechanics granting you monster slain, grant you 1 divine, 1 chaos, like grant you a chaos orb and all these things, is that they aren't scalable really with MF. You can scale them with adding monsters to the maps. You can scale them with all these other things, but adding more players, adding more MF doesn't scale it. So it's a way where you have multiple vectors in terms of getting these like exciting moments for drops, and it's not all magic find. And I think that's good. However, I think what's happening as well is it that because they're giving us all these other tools, I have a strong feeling that natural drops have been significantly reduced over the years. Because I'm killing more and more things, and I am experiencing getting less and less natural drops as the years go on. And it probably all started with Arch Nemesis, which was probably the worst thing to ever happen in PoE. And the whole conversion bombs that happened there, which I always found, it's just big lottery. It's big lottery tickets. It's like slot machine, PoE, rather than you're getting currency a bit here and there, and then if you need a couple divines, right, you could play for half a day, not get and then you probably get a couple, like at the end game, if not more. But these days, like we're what, day 10, day 8, day whatever, we're probably day 10 now or something. I've dropped one natural divine. Like, what the fuck? I've dropped like 1 or 2 natural, no, the exalted orbs I got. I dropped 1 natural exalted orb, 1 natural divine. Like, this expectation that we're just gonna sit there and pull the lever non-stop, I think it's really toxic. I don't know, like, I don't know what they're trying to do with this, but I find it to be kind of I don't like the direction this is going, where everything is becoming slot machines, right? You're waiting for the altar to turn into a divine, right? So you can finally find some divines, and then you want to have it drop 72 divines in one map. And then until then, you get nothing. Like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Or you have to do side content like Sanctum to get some of this. And I don't like it when essentially core currency that everyone needs to, you know, because there's metacrafting and all these things, when it becomes so sparse from just killing stuff, which should be the main thing that we're focused on in an ARPG. And that's the thing that doesn't give you anything until you hit that lever. I don't know. I think that's a bit crazy. We'll go here again. So what about this thing? So over the years, we've had a lot of talk about like drops and clicking all these things, and then they started piling them together in stacks. But we still have the altars, and now we also have this. And what the f***? I would like for GDG to start designing their game with the player in mind, right? It can't all be metrics and reward, like just looking at the number. You also have to look at what is the player actually doing. What are you telling the player that you have to do? Because the thing is, in a game where they also introduced T17 maps, right? Where you have to use 100 chaos to run a map, which is not, it's a fair statement. You have to like chaos spam them a lot. And I'm not entirely upset with that. I mean, I'm not the one running a lot of these. I can totally see how, because this is not the bridging content to Ubers. For everything I can, like for everything I've heard and everyone I hear talk about this is not the bridging content. The actual map is insane. And the bosses are a joke. Apparently they just fall over. And I don't know. It's a weird mix. Yeah, you can leverage your map, and I kind of like that you can leverage your atlas against it. I don't like it when they keep adding these things that break characters left, right, and center. I think at the end of something, you can have something that breaks a character, like the Uber Pinnacle stuff, where like Exarch's balls, they ignore what's it called? They ignore suppression, or you have like pen and all these things at like the end. But when it comes before, it gets weird, and especially when it's as oppressive as the mods of T17. Now, that being said, how do you actually roll them? Chaos Orbs. How do you get Chaos Orbs? Welcome to Chaos Orbs. Because this is probably your best way of getting Chaos Orbs. It's this kind of thing. And then we have to click these one by one. Are you insane? Like, I'm already, every time I pull the lever and I see one of these 5%, 10%, 7%, whatever chance, if it's like alterations or chromes at this point, I physically cringe inside. I'm like, oh, I have to do this again because I know what awaits me, and it just makes me not want to do it. I put them way in the bottom. I could use, oftentimes I could use chromes. I could use them. There's lots of uses, but I intentionally just throw it away because it's so cumbersome to pick all these up. If you want this to be part of the game and this screen to be something you see every now and then, that's fine. But then for the love of God, make it so that the player has some reasonable way of interacting with it, okay? Some reasonable way of interacting with it. It could be you click a Chaos Orb, all Chaos Orbs in the vicinity gets picked up. Boom. It could be like a circle around you that you have like a pick up the things, pick up currencies on my Boom, like, and you can just tag, like, all this is just currencies. If it's not a currency, it doesn't get auto picked up. But like, what is really the point of having to individually click these ones? Like, if weight really is the key, I mean, you can't tell me there's weight to any of this. You can't. It's just, no, that is, you're gaslighting me at this point. I think it's fine to look at rares, corruptions, and all these things where you're uncertain about what the thing actually is that you are engaging with. Could it be good? Could it be bad? I think all that's cool, right? Rares as a whole, it's whatever. Like, there are like uniques, corruptions, fractures, and the occasional rare of the right type that you might want at specific times. However, you're always picking up chaos orbs, and these are all like, they're like, it's like splinters as well. Like, why? If you want the moments of like this, like, oh, the feeling, the weight, and the like picking it up, just drop like a stack every now and then that you have to click. Like, maybe stacks can't pick up of a certain size. I don't know, because they're way too much. Or like breach, the breach stones, right? Maybe you can pick up splinters, but not stones. And then the stones can drop at infrequently, and you're like, oh, wow. And you go and pick it up, and you have that like feedback and everything, and it feels good. But this is insane. So please start like creating an experience with the player in mind. Because don't tell me that 12 years ago when you envisioned chaos orbs, like if you'd shown this to like a 12-year-ago game designer at GGG, you'd been like, that's insane, that's crazy, we don't want a game to turn into this. But now you're in it because we're essentially at a place where we're so accustomed to it, we're so numb to it, that we don't see how insane this is. So please, help. help us. Secondly, here's a bit of a fun one. If a mechanic needs a spreadsheet to be played effectively, it better have a spreadsheet like GUI. And then Ben is like complaining that spreadsheets are mandatory because meticulous planning can increase your 91 to 92%. Just means you want to be mad about something. Now, so there's a couple things here. I kind of agree with the sentiment that going out of your way to get small increments is fine, but it's not something to really complain too much about, because it's like we do this with everything, and you can spreadsheetify almost anything. Like POB, like there's a lot you can do with POB, and then you can go beyond, and you can go beyond, and you can, you know, fine tune them in, but it's not really necessary to play the game. Like the min-maxing is something that you will find at multiple stages. However, for a full league mechanic with crafting, I will say, what is the point of over-engineering it to this degree? If it's something you're gonna throw away, and it's something that goes in and affects the player to this extent as well, like what is the point of over-engineering this? It's like we're back to Harvest, and I don't think we really liked Harvest, but at least in Harvest you didn't have to do it for every, like once you had your essentially garden set up, your garden was set up and you just played. Now this thing you have to do all the time. Of course there's some learning, but it's just kind of crazy. And then if we take one more step, we can have a whole analysis of the league and like the introduction of league mechanics, but I do think that both of these make a lot of sense. And I am just at the point where I'm like, why are you over-engineering all this stuff? Please have the player in mind when you design all this. That's all I'm asking at this point. Just have the player in mind. All of this stuff that I'm seeing, all of this is that I don't feel that the player is being thought of much here. It seems to be all like stats driven. The thing is, it's with T17 maps, right? It's like, oh, what if the player did this, and then we threw him to that, and then this magical thing can happen. But when the magical thing only happens once every 100 chaos orbs, it's not that magical anymore. So yeah, that's all I had to say about that. I mean, it's the same thing about splinters, right? You're making content where like we get to these like where a lot of stuff drops at the same time. Just what is the point even at this stage of the game to have us needing to click that many times? What would really be the harm? And if the harm is that we pick up too many things, then lower the drops, and that's it. And remember, guys, we say all these things because we love the game. Keep your feedback concise, constructive, and civil. I'll see you guys around.